What is up, Nintendo Land? Welcome to Nintendo Open Air Podcast. This week we talk games. Lots of games. Console exclusive games, games with exclusive content, pre-purchasable games, and even a new news channel dedicated to games. We also have new rumors on Super Smash Ultimate, new Labo support from a third party no less, and of course we'll be discussing the Nindies Showcase from earlier today. In fact, we'll even hear from the Game Master himself, Shigeru Miyamoto. We've got lots of new info to cover, so stay tuned and see what gets the thumbs up and what gets the thumbs down. Alright, so the Nindies Showcase, it's just a few hours ago. Were we any more impressed with Nintendo of America's presentation than we were with Nintendo of Europe's last week?
No. Boring. Oh.
I'm embarrassed to admit I didn't watch Nintendo of Europe's, but I mean, a lot of these games, like every other Nindies Showcase, well, some of them really were just lame all around, but like a lot of these games look really cool. Well, a lot of these games look really cool. They're really pretty, but it's yet another side-scrolling Metroidvania. It's yet another, whatever, and I just can't get into it. I'm sorry.
There's a couple of them that do mean retro now.
Yeah, I guess. And if you're going to do that, stick to the originals. That's still my feeling.
Yeah, there was nothing exciting, I didn't think, in this whole thing. Like, I watched it, and I was yawning throughout, and then he's like, oh, and one more thing. And he's like, it's something nobody cares about. I don't even know what it is. One more thing.
I thought that was the biggest letdown for a dramatic finale ever. It's like, this looks just like all the other games that I just spent the last 10 minutes watching.
The Goose is the real star.
That is true. And I don't know if that's a official title. It's like unnamed game about
Untitled Goose game?
Something like that, yeah.
Or they're just like, Goose are assholes. Now you can be the Goose.
I didn't get to see all of it, but from what little I did see, it seemed like they were really catering towards fans of certain things. So, like, if you got one of those people who really got into Celeste, oh, here's another game from the same company, and you can play as Celeste or whatever, like the character, whoever the heroine is.
I've noticed all the little indie crossover things they've been doing. Like, I got a bunch of characters. I got Shantae in my Blaster Master Zero and a few other characters.
Shovel Knights popped up everywhere and all kinds of games.
They have done one thing right, and that is kind of creating a community among independent developers. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's become its own kind of. It's kind of like how the movies. They became like this little anti-Hollywood indie studio circle for a while, and then it eventually got kind of absorbed by the big companies, and that is kind of seeming like the same pattern here. I don't know if Nintendo will necessarily pick these companies up. I think it works a little differently now, where it's more like a contract thing. But right, they're cultivating relationships with the ones they like and the quality ones, and they'll try to keep them going. It's kind of like a reboot from the very early days, right?
Mm-hmm. It is.
I think they're just doing whatever they can to not give us a real direct.
Well, that could be part of it.
Or just breaking it up so that stuff that wouldn't be as appealing in a real direct can have its own separate showtime.
Yeah, the next one better be good.
And this could be to play along with the conventions, because this is supposed to kind of coincide with PAX West, and the other one was for Gamescom, so maybe that's just Nintendo's way of kind of participating in them.
And they did like the Nindies at Night thing, I think, during PAX, just was last year. So they always have a Nindies thing at PAX. But that's because at PAX they never have any actual games to show that are made by Nintendo.
Right.
It's like, here's what we've got coming out, a bunch of games you've never heard of until now that aren't by us. But
I do have kind of, for my thoughts on it, I kind of have two comments about it. One, and I hate to say this, I thought the graphics on like the first 5 or 6 games were absolutely terrible, especially the ones that were multiplayer. It's like, how could you ever play with like 6 people and see your character on the screen to have any type of enjoyment?
Yeah.
And the second thing is all these words that we normally associate or phrases that we normally associate with first-party games. You can pre-purchase it today, exclusive content, and stuff like that. I thought that was really stepping it up.
You gotta line up to pre-order your digital game before they're all sold out.
And it's really not a bad idea, because the way the eShop is, you'll forget about it in a week. It's like, oh yeah, that game was going to come out. So,
but if you forget about it in a week, maybe it's one you don't want to pick up.
Exactly. But,
I know I had a friend who was excited that Bastion and Transistor are both coming to Nintendo Switch, which I'm not familiar with either of them, but I guess they were released in 2011 and 2014, respectively. Were highly rated upon release.
Old.
Yeah. They're old classics. So he was, I don't know if those were, I don't even know if those were in the direct or not, but I know that those just recently got released. And Hyper Light Drifter looked kind of cool-ish. That's the one that had the like weird, crazy, it almost looks like Myst or something, like with the main character with his sword, but it had like some Contra-looking alien in it. And it comes with exclusive Tower Climb Challenge, just on Nintendo Switch exclusive. But I think that's also a game that's been out for everything else.
That was the one that sounded like asymmetric multiplayer. Was that the one? One of them had some asymmetric multiplayer, mode to them that was Switch exclusive. Is that what you're talking about? I forget which one it was.
I don't remember.
There's one where, one person holds the Joy-Con and everyone else tries to beat him off or something. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, we'll have to watch it again. But there's something that gave me flashbacks to the Wii U, where it was something where one person does something with a Joy-Con and everyone else is against them. I don't know any more details than that, because that's how much attention I paid to the Direct.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too.
That's the problem I had. It all ran together very quickly.
Yeah.
Especially when you watch it on double speed.
I couldn't name more than a few games and can barely do that. It's just, it was what, 20 minutes, 15 minutes maybe?
7 minutes.
But
nothing really stuck out.
Yeah, it was 15 minutes.
I know Max isn't with us right now, but I think she probably saw more in this that she was looking forward to than the rest of us. I didn't see anything that I'll probably pick up, but
she said she saw 3 games. Yeah. So she was interested in. We know what one of them was.
Yeah, we picked up one pretty quickly. Maneko's Night Market, where you grow cats. And I have to say, that one is a lot.
And pick them like Cabbage Patch Kids, man. I saw that blip by on double speed, and I was like, what the hell? That was just bizarre. Yeah.
If I was going to buy one of the games, that would be the one. That's how I pick cats out of the garden.
I was thinking, oh, my wife might like that. This weird is up her alley. Weird and cute.
Yeah, it's interesting. It had like I thought it looked like a sim game, but then at the same time, it's like it's an adventure mode. But I don't know.
I couldn't. It seemed kind of like Harvest Moon with cats, plus like a little bit of Pokemon. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maneko's Night Market.
And every time they
early 2019.
Yeah, there were a lot of games that were coming early 2019, which I thought was surprising, I guess.
Wait, hold on. One thing says coming in early 2019, and then the story also says arrives first on Switch this October. So, who knows? I guess this October is very early 2019.
That's right. It's even earlier than 2019. That's how early it is. All right, so talking about needing a direct, we did just get some breaking news. Apparently, there will be another direct tomorrow. So, unfortunately, we won't be covering that tonight because obviously it hasn't happened.
The schedule on these is so frigging haphazard.
Yeah.
It's like two different people scheduled these directs and just didn't talk to each other at all, it seems like. I mean, I'm sure that's not the case, but it's just so weird.
And by the way, the direct tomorrow is happening at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I'm not sure what audience they're going after, the late night group, I guess.
And if you're hearing this on Thursday and going, hey,
time.
I missed a direct, probably not. It's just a mobile direct for one game.
Yeah, this is the Dragalia Lost Mobile Direct, and it's officially labeled as a mobile direct, so as if they're making a new genre that they're going to be talking about. And they are trying to make mobile more important.
They're warming us up for an announcement about the online service, maybe, or just for the online service itself.
But we'll see. It's an RPG. They've done pretty well with RPGs on mobile in Fire Emblem. So
yeah, it looks interesting, and all that's really out there is the logo for the game and a Japanese trailer. And I'm hoping we're going to get more than just the English trailer for this, because it doesn't really show that much. It just shows the cutscenes that they show in those commercials for mobile games, and it's like not actual gameplay footage.
I think it comes out next month, right? So they're just hyping it.
I'm not sure. I think you're right.
But this one's not made by Nintendo. It's just being published by Nintendo.
Right.
But the company that's making it is one that Nintendo owns like 5% of the stock in. So Nintendo really believes in these guys.
Yeah, they're a mobile partner, I guess you could say.
Yeah. It's got to be good for the stock to be partnered with Nintendo.
That's right. Yeah.
Or volatile for the stock to be partnered with Nintendo, at least.
Depends on which side you're on, yeah.
See, it could go either way for the company, really.
I don't know. I think I don't know how new this company is, but if you're trying to build a name for yourself, a partnership like that's going to help one way or the other.
Well, they're at least traded publicly somewhere.
Always good. Oh, okay.
Nintendo, if Nintendo owns 5% of the stock,
that's true.
They at least have stock. So
no, it could be a private. That could be a private transaction.
I guess it could be. We'll have all the details about how much we didn't care about that next week.
Well said.
By the way, the developer we're talking about is Cygames, CY Games, and it does come out September 27th. So,
not related to the Gangnam Style guy, right?
Probably not. It could be.
His name differently.
Does anybody remember that guy, man?
Psy? That was PSY, though.
I didn't even know his name.
Everybody remembers that guy. You're all going to go YouTube it later on tonight.
That's right. We're sorry if we...
That song played at my wedding.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Z.
No, a little Asian kid danced his ass off to it, and it was amazing.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, it was a show. Like, everybody on the dance floor stopped and like spread out in a circle and watched this little like 8-year-old dance. It was nuts. He did the little cowboy thing. He did the whole 9 yards. Perfect.
That's impressive.
Anyway.
Max got here just in time for the Gangnam Style section of our podcast.
And just in time to miss us making fun of her for the cat game.
Yeah.
What do you think of the cat game, Max?
We were not making fun of you.
No, we really weren't. We were just saying it's 100% up your alley.
Yeah, it looks cute. It looks sort of Animal Crossing type game or something.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Promises 20 hours of playtime.
Ooh.
So, since we mentioned this before, what were the other games you were interested in? We've all kind of went through ours. Since we're putting you on the spot right now.
Yeah. Treasure Staff?
Okay, that looked interesting. It reminded me of Wario. Yeah.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one that's like what's it called? Did you just say Wario's Woods?
Yeah.
Jason. Yeah. I couldn't place it until you just said it. I was like, God, I know there's another game like this where there's a little dude running around moving the stuff around.
Treasure stack, yeah.
It looks good, but then I remembered how frustrating Wario Woods was, and I was like,
oh yeah, no, I immediately thought like by level 5 I'm gonna be so pissed off at this thing.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it would have to be cheap. It looked like it might not be too bad. The cat game and the Untitled Goose Game.
oh yeah, I should have known the Goose Game.
Yeah, because we've talked about that before.
The Goose
kinda-
Game?
Yeah, or Jason and I have.
Oh,
It feels a little bit like Goat Simulator, and they referred to it as a goose simulator. So I think they're trying to kind of channel that a little bit. That one looked cute, but again, it's none of this is stuff I'm gonna get.
It would have to be inexpensive. It can't be cost very much.
Yeah,
That looks like a $2 Steam game, kind of.
It does.
yeah.
And I'm sure on Switch it's going to be $19.99
$15
or
$20.
Yeah.
That's
It would depend on the price of whether or not I've actually bought it.
That's the biggest thing with these Nindy games. To me, I feel like you're kind of taking a risk on them, and some of them are, built up well, like Golf Story and SteamWorld Dig and Shovel Knight. Those were all kind of well known when they were released, or had a lot of support behind them, and you felt like taking a chance. But a lot of these others, I just can't see putting $20 into them.
No.
And it's just there's too many.
Yeah.
It's just like when there's a few to focus on that everybody's kind of playing and universally says, no, this is quality stuff, then yeah. But when it's just here's more indies.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that is one thing we did not mention. In Europe, they stayed away from the word Nindy. They called it Indies. But then the first thing in the direct is Nintendo plus Indies, Nindies. Why is that strictly North America? Does that not translate to other countries, or?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because I thought that was their, they were working hard to
Brand that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All thing I can think is maybe because there's different languages they have to deal with over in Europe.
Maybe so.
And there's not as many over here.
There's quite a possibility that Nindy is some kind of curse word in some European language or something.
Yeah.
They should call them Nindependents.
Then I want to see Independence Day, a movie with Will Smith.
Because they're all dependent on Nintendo to sell their game. Yeah, I don't know. It was like that was like a cute little branding for a while, but I wish they had made that for indie style games made by Nintendo.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I've complained about that, the lack thereof, enough. What else we got tonight?
All right. So the other big news, of course, and it's going to be the big news for the rest of the year, is Smash Ultimate. So we got a couple of bits of information. I'll start with the rumor first, and the rumor comes. It does not involve Goku or Shrek, sadly. It would be much more interesting. But Best Buy Canada had a listing, and it said that the amiibo will unlock characters in the game. That you would tap the amiibo to the NFC reader and unlock the character in the game. It could just be bad wording for, like the fighters that we had in the previous one, but it's interesting. That would certainly be a nice reward.
It makes sense, but didn't they say that all the characters were going to be unlocked from the start in this one?
I don't remember that.
I thought they had said that. But,
see, I thought that too, but
it's hard to say. I mean, I could see it. That would have been. Well, I guess if they had had all their amiibo together at launch for the last game, it would have been nice to be able to unlock characters just by scanning their amiibo, I guess, even though it's just something you get for having that amiibo. Which, if you have that amiibo, you probably want that character. Because you bought the amiibo of it. But,
right.
Yeah, it's something, I guess. But yeah, I thought they had said at some point that all the stuff was just going to be unlocked from the beginning. But
That's what I
But
thought.
don't all Smash games have that unlock thing? Well, even the last one, like
The very first one did.
they hadn't officially said that like Duck Hunt was even a character for sure. Like it was rumored, but it was an unlockable in the game, and so maybe they'll still have some stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, it's very easily they could have had another word into that, and we're just forgetting that one word.
Yeah,
It would have made it fit.
like all the original roster players will be available.
Right.
Or something.
Or core fighters or base fighters or something like that.
Yeah.
But the other bit of news that we got, and this is confirmed, this is real. I know I said rumors, but it's really just one rumor. We got an announcement of a special edition coming out, which will include a steelbook version of the game and a Pro controller that is Smash themed. And I think
if you're just hearing now, you can't get it.
Yeah, and I was
you can't get
late.
it.
I was late to mashing my button on Best Buy, so I'm pissed. Which means I'll probably end up paying full price or something close to it.
Or you'll get it at launch, where they'll have like 3 copies in the store.
Yeah, exactly. Line up for it at launch, but by then, I guarantee you, by Christmas of this year, they will have killed off their Gamers Club Unlocked. I assume.
Yeah.
Even though I just renewed mine like last November.
I think they're going to have to honor it for the people who are already locked in.
I hope so. Because I still got a year and a half left. Well,
I know a lot of people were pushing, although I guess it's officially over now. I believe it was the 28th when it was ending, but people were pushing, go ahead and pre-order Smash but through Amazon to get their discount.
Amazon, yeah.
And they were naming all the games that were announced that were coming out. Go get this. But
pre-order all the things.
is that 20% still going on Amazon?
I think it ended on the 28th, which today that we're recording is the 28th, so it should probably already be over.
Oh, so that sucks.
No.
This new Smash is a steelbook with the fiery Smash logo and a Dirt Magnet Pro controller.
Yeah, the white Pro controller.
White hand grips.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. What a dumb idea.
Let me ask the question, is it the look of the Pro controller with the white hand grips, or is it just the fact that anything you have on your hands is going to be displayed on that?
It might just be me. I mean, I think it looks fine.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it,
I'm okay with the look. I just know that that white's not going to stay white with my hands.
Especially, and I don't. If anybody smokes around here, that's definitely a thing. Also, like everyone from when I used to smoke during when I would play Wii, all of my Wii controllers that were white and had the little white sticks, the thumbsticks are just permanently yellow on top. There's nothing I can do about it.
So there's that. Like I said, you'll get your Cheetos, your Doritos, your Mountain Dew.
That too. If you're used to normally eating, Doritos while playing or whatever, any sort of finger grease or yada yada, yeah.
You have to wear those.
Wipe it off, but yeah.
You need those little white gloves they have in art museums.
You wear gloves to play.
Which that would be pretty cool if like Koizumi come on and he had on those white gloves and
Gamer gloves.
Gamer glove, there we go.
Or your Mario gloves.
Somebody patent that and we'll kickstart it and
Gamer glove. Keep your controller clean.
No one will buy that.
$9.95. Breathable mesh gloves. They give you all the grippiness and then make it out of dry fit.
For when you're playing glove
your
ball.
Hands dry and grippy. Yeah.
Just a controller that every time the rumble goes off or something like that, it puts out a little hand sanitizer to keep your hands dry. And
there you go.
Harry, that's nice.
I was waiting to see where you're going with it. I was like, electric shock. Say electric shock. Shock glove.
I just picture you're starting up the game and it says, "Are your hands clean?" You have to click OK before you can start the game.
There was one other small rumor actually. Someone had either mocked up or truly posted up a box art in some foreign language. I don't know if it was French or
I believe it was French.
of a Smash bundle where the dock, it looked like, had some decals applied to it with the Smash Brothers characters on it, and a Joy-Con and Joy-Con grip that were themed for Smash. But it's just kind of like a blurry photo that like looks like somebody took it out of a circular ad. So maybe it's real, maybe it's not. You guys seem to think not.
Were the Joy-Con gray? Or what
They
color?
were, but they had some sort of like decal or skin or something over them. Or it looked like it could have been screen printed, I guess. But the only thing that sold me on it is there's like a picture of the front of the box, and you can kind of see the side of the box as well. And it looked like there were two different angles of, you know, it wasn't the same photo on each side. It was like two different angles, which kind of sold it a little better for me. But I don't know. I mean, they did Mario Odyssey, but they've never done a themed dock.
Or
Where's our
Joy-Cons.
solid gold Breath of the Wild dock? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they had the reward Labo dock that was different.
That's true.
Mm.
We'll see. I definitely think they got to be bundling it this holiday. You know, so they can sell 20 million. Strength of Smash. But yeah, that was the only other rumor thing I can think of. But I don't know. They're sure planning on selling a lot of controllers. Got GameCube controllers, Pro controllers, but no Pro GameCube controller.
That made too much sense.
People would want that, so they better not make it.
I know, and I talked about that, and I knew they wouldn't do it, but it kills me. What kills me more is that 8-Bit though isn't just, you know, actively seeking a Nintendo license and instead is going a totally different route. But they are the hardware manufacturer I would want Nintendo to partner with to make a modern wireless GameCube Pro controller.
That would be pretty sweet. They seem to make really good product.
The Wavebird Switch.
Yeah, man. Basically, that's basically exactly what everybody wants. And it just, somebody's got to give it to us. Nintendo, they are fools. They leave money on the table. We know this, though.
Yeah. And they've got to save that for the next Smash game.
I always wonder how many of these they're really selling. Like, how many GameCube controllers are they really selling?
Of the wired ones?
Adapters.
None.
Yeah.
None. But if they made a wireless Pro controller that was GameCube design layout, oh my God, how many of those would they sell? Those would fly off the shelves, absolutely. As a replacement to the Pro controller, I think it would, you know what I mean? I think it would legitimately hurt sales of the Pro controller. I think a lot of people would buy it. And launching it with the quote-unquote ultimate version of Smash would have been the ultimate thing to do, but they blew it. I mean, unless they've still got, you know, this up their sleeve. It's just, it's to me, it's foolish of them not to do it, but they're foolish, so.
Yeah, you want to go ultimate, maybe when they do their next Smash Direct, they can say, and one more thing, all the controllers are coming back too. They're wireless N64.
You know what? That would be the wisest. That would be right there, dude. If Nintendo wanted to suddenly make money on hardware in a way that they've never done before, like, you know what I mean? The mini business, right? It's outselling big boy consoles on a regular basis. I mean, it's only 60 or 80 bucks a pop, but it's still. But it's just money that's just rolling in regularly every month, no matter how good or bad the Switch and 3DS are doing. And if they basically re-released their entire history of controllers, NES, Super NES, all the way through, I mean, holy crap! What if they made mini Wiimotes that, you know, were basically Joy-Cons but shaped like mini Wiimotes? People would buy that shit. That's only 10 years ago. 12 years ago, well, that it launched. I mean, you know what I mean? I think Nintendo's just leaving like potentially billions on the table by not doing it.
I don't know. I always feel like it's a really niche market, but if they smartly did it like in step with a virtual console, where they're like, "Hey, we're bringing Nintendo 64 to the virtual console, and here's a Nintendo 64."
The thing is, though, everything's a niche market at this point, and it's just like Nintendo likes to try to hit all those niches, like we see on the eShop, right? Every week, it's like we've hit this genre, this genre, this genre, this genre, and it just seems like
switches.
But right, I just see it as another source of revenue for them that they're just pissing away. And as a side note, I'm still loving my. I think I mentioned a week or two ago that I did the conversion kit. Did I ever mention it? That I actually did swap it out? Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
Yeah, and I'm still loving it. Like every piece of hardware I've gotten from 8-Bit Do has been amazing and completely met or exceeded my expectations, with the possible exception of the arcade stick, which the feel of the stick's a little janky. But everything else is top notch. Not to rant on about it.
Well, the interesting counterpart to our controller discussion here is we got some news, and this is via nextin.net. Apparently, Super Mario Party will not support Pro controllers.
Joy-Con only, baby.
Which I can see, because it's supposed to be, a simple Mario Party game, and you want it to be pick up and play and accessible and fair for everybody. So,
but why exclude it?
Do you think it's because it's going to have some games that are exclusive to the little, like maybe the IR, or, other things?
Quite possibly, but then not all Joy-Cons have the IR.
That's right.
Only half of them. So I mean, I would think. I don't know. There might be something still otherwise unique that they have that the other one doesn't. Sorry, go ahead, Max.
Oh no, I don't know why they're not doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not bothered by it myself. Is anybody?
No, I'm not bothered. Why would they do that?
I would be if I wanted to play the game, but
yeah,
it seems a little strange, but that's it.
It won't affect me because I'm not going to play it anyway.
I guess.
Well, go ahead.
I keep thinking about in Super Mario Odyssey, like when you'd boot up and it says you can also play using the Joy-Con, and it's like they were always trying to force another mode of play on you, and it's like I feel like
I wish they would patch that out. By the way,
yeah,
because after you've put in like 60 hours or whatever, it's like, do I really need to see this every time?
Right. And I think this is just their next step. Is they're trying to push it on you in this game, and then it's just like Nintendo says, there's no other way that they should be able to play this because we absolutely know the right way. And that makes me think of like Star Fox Zero.
This is completely unrelated, but I thought it was really funny. So like, how Nintendo's always doing dumb shit. YouTube just added a new feature where you can track your hours watched on YouTube. And one of the little things you have an option to enable is remind me to take a break. And you can turn it on, and you can set like every half hour, every 1 hour, every 2 hours, so that it reminds you to take a break. I'm like, who requested this? That was the worst part of the 3DS.
Yeah. Animal Crossing. Oh my goodness.
Could you imagine if Breath of the Wild had done that? Like, hey, Link, you look a little sleepy.
Didn't Ocarina of Time 3D have that with Navi?
Oh yeah, a lot of the early 3DS games had that, and all the Virtual Boy games had it.
I remember it fondly from my Animal Crossing experience. I just thought it was funny that YouTube has added that in their menu now, so you can set what time interval you want it to pop up to remind you to take a break.
Like you're gonna forget.
Maybe it's more for parents and kids, I guess.
Probably.
Like Nintendo's parental controls.
Nintendo didn't give you an option to toggle it on or off. It just
no,
unfortunately.
It's gonna tell you.
I mean, You say you remember that fondly. I remember being so frustrated.
Well, maybe not
Yeah.
fondly. But
I was, I'm trying to manipulate the system to get an animal to come and, get a little exclamation that come talk to me, and then it's like,
Yeah.
I've waited
Yeah.
like 20 minutes. It's been more than 15, and it's like you talk to one of them. Oh, should you take a break? It's like, no.
Yeah, I had that happen so many times. Waiting to talk to someone, and finally you talk to one, and they're like, "Oh, you need to take a break."
I just wanted to tell you not to move.
The equivalent of getting a spam email.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, that was definitely not on the topic list. I just something made me remember it, and I was like, that was funny.
Similar thing. Similar situation.
Yeah.
All right. Moving along. So we got some more information this week about Labo, and that is that Labo will be getting some third-party support. Deemo will be the first third-party game to have compatibility with one of the Toy-Con piano. So it's going to be a while before we find out what all that'll be. I would assume it's going to be second half of October before the update hits. But Nintendo is already saying this is going to increase. More is coming. So,
I would be down for this stuff again. As I always say with Labo, if I had a kid of the right age, I can totally see, talking about niche markets, this is a niche market. But if it does well, it does well. I mean, it's again, we all agree it's a neat idea. It's pretty cool. We're just, none of us are really their target market. So,
yeah, and this is it's a rhythm game, so
which isn't my cup of tea.
Kind of see that.
Yeah.
But in the game, you're playing an instrument that resembles a piano.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's like.
But I remember discussion back when they were first showing some Toy-Con ideas. There was one that looked a bit like a shotgun, and someone was saying, "Ooh, it'd be interesting to play Doom with that."
Yeah, there were a lot of Labo memes at first. Although I could see if some of the games incorporated like the piano, or racing games like Mario Kart has added support for the
motorcycle.
For the motorcycle, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this?
So
I don't really know much about this game. Is this something that you would consider picking up, Barry? I know you've probably played more with the Labo or would have use for it than any of us.
I don't know that game, and to be honest, I'm not much with music type games, especially anything where you have to play music. It's really not my cup of tea.
Mine either.
But this game came out a year ago, so I wonder if this was their idea or Nintendo's like, hey, would you consider adding Labo support?
I wonder if they just kind of put out a feeler to any developers that just said, anyone have ideas for using your game with Labo?
Yeah, please. Mm-hmm. For the love of God, say yes.
We'll give you a bonus credit towards the next, an extra percentage off the revenue.
We'll put your next game,
please.
We'll allow your game to remain on Switch.
Yeah, we'll definitely feature your game on Switch once that happens, I'm sure.
But we won't have the sales. Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of games coming and going on a Switch, we got news of a new trademark being filed, and it's for Pilotwings. I know we've all probably played at least one of the Pilotwings games, and it's for video games only. So, do we think we're getting a new Pilotwings game for Switch? Do we want a new Pilotwings game for Switch?
Yeah, do we care if we're getting a new Pilotwings game for Switch? I'd be curious. I'd be interested. Yeah. And if it was good, I would buy it. I mean, it might not be terrible. Pilotwings Resort on the 3DS, I had a genuine good time with. It was a short little, felt like a mini game. It felt like a Nintendo-made Nindy title. But it was
the demo, I think, wasn't it? When it launched, that was the demo game.
Yep, you're right.
Before Star Fox took over.
You know, it's a recognizable series for them that's been around long enough that, yeah, I mean, it's something that people will look at. I don't know how, it depends how good the game is. But it's definitely a name that people recognize.
We were just talking about Labo support, and Nintendo has announced that we're going to get the Labo vehicle kits. What if this was to coincide with it? What if it was Pilotwings and Labo? Or if it was a Pilotwings game where you could use Labo?
Didn't we see a flight stick? A Labo flight stick? Or am I imagining that?
Oh,
Yeah,
no, we
we
did.
Yeah.
So,
It might be a good match, actually, that type of game.
Mm-hmm. That could be a kind of a step-up game where it's not a game that's being added to it, but maybe a game that you could play the whole game while using the Labo. It would be an interesting step if Nintendo went in that direction.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy the cardboard to play it, though.
No, I wouldn't either. I mean, at this point, I think Pilotwings they're really going to have to sell me on a Pilotwings game.
Yeah.
And show me that it's going to bring something to the table better than Pilotwings 64. Just like they'll really have to sell me on a Star Fox game better than Star Fox 64.
Oh no, they announced the Star Fox game. I'll be eagerly anticipating it. But
Star Fox Zero.
I was gonna say yeah, that's your better than Star Fox 64 Star Fox game.
Yeah. Those graphics, wow.
Just re-release that with a
Apology?
simplified control scheme.
yes.
Yeah, they could just change the control scheme, and I think people would be interested again.
Yep. I think so too. A different game.
And the Star Fox Guard could be like a handheld exclusive play for the touchscreens.
It's true. Yeah, they haven't really made much use of that. There's a little now and then, but not a lot.
Yeah. Always.
Alright. Well, another game, and we've been following this update pretty well, but I thought I would mention it again. The Rocket League progression update is due out soon-ish, I think.
I think this month, so there's only a few more days.
It's supposed to land this week, but it hasn't yet. Maybe by the time this airs, it'll be out.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, this is, but they're gonna unroll it or unveil it in two different things. I think they're doing the progression update comes out, and then they're gonna add the other stuff later. There's the Rocket Pass that's still coming. I think August 29th is when they're saying for so that's Wednesday.
Yeah.
So yesterday, if you're listening to this, or tomorrow, if you're us.
They got some.
Yeah.
They gave some details on this. One of it is some avatar borders. That's like a new type of customization that you can get?
Yeah.
That's
like around your player banner or whatever.
It seems kind of weak. But
yeah.
And they're going to have new achievements and trophies. But the odd thing that stuck out to me is that they were adding clubs for up to 20 players.
Yeah. Clans.
It's clans, exactly. Does that fit with Rocket League?
Play with your friends. Yeah. Easy to meet up with your friends and make teams if you, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe they figure that'll give you a reason to keep playing. It's like, me and my friends always play, but now we can say that we're a team and have our own team name.
Well, yeah, because that makes sense, actually. They can have seasons with different teams, do rankings for teams. Yeah, I could see that.
And also you can pick your team's primary color and accent color, which if you've played the single player mode of Rocket League, it's the computer, you have that option too, where it's like you can make your cars like black, which is a color you don't have the option to make it in the regular thing. So this will, all the cars will have matching color schemes and stuff. So it'll look sort of like a jersey kind of.
And they said clubs, and Rocket League is soccer cars, and soccer clubs. So that's kind of where that's going. And it's
Rocket League Football Club, RLFC.
Hopefully that's not up to 20-player games, because that would be ridiculous.
I would doubt it.
Hectic.
I just wondered if it would change esports at all, because right now Rocket League is pretty big on the esports scene. I just wonder if it will be clubs and stuff.
I can't see that being sort of at the official high-end competitive level. I see it being more as an informal thing just for groups of friends.
But maybe now we can order custom jerseys at some point from the online store and get your team's name or something on there. I think they already actually sell jerseys, like Rocket League jerseys on their site. So
I actually watched one of the final broadcasts there, and they were interviewing one of the teams, and one of the questions they asked the players on this team was, if you could have any Rocket League car in real life, which one would you pick? The one guy picked the Octane, and the other one said a Batmobile.
yeah.
I wouldn't have picked either of those personally, but
Oh, what would you pick? What's better than the Batmobile?
well, I just find if I was going to be in real life, it would just be a little bit too unwieldy. Like, I don't know. The first ones that came to my mind were maybe the Dominus, but I was thinking maybe the DeLorean, because it's based on a real car, or maybe something even like the
Breakout.
what's it called? The Marauder, or the
SUV.
You know, if you wanted something more sports car, there's ones that look more like a real sort of sports cars, like the Takumi or even the Samurai would be interesting. But again, it's too unwieldy to get in and out of, I would think.
I would have to say that DeLorean would be the correct choice. It's got time travel.
Yeah, that's true.
That would be even better than the Batmobile. I have to correct myself.
Yeah.
And they've got to be great, because obviously you can crash these all over the place and
never take any damage.
They just respawn.
And I think I should say my reality and Mary's reality may be a little bit different.
Could be.
As Al City always said, reality is a lovely place, but I would not want to live there.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been back in Rocket League for a little while now. I know Barry's still playing, but I got burnt out on it when Fortnite took over. I haven't really come back. It's just such a stressful game. Or it can be.
I don't know. I don't play it heavily, but every so often when they have an event that I like to hop on and collect some golden eggs or whatever.
Yeah.
And just to hop on every once in a while for a match. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with these upgrades. Like, I'm looking at my level now and wondering, is it going to go up? Is it going to, what's going to change with this? So
You'll get some free stuff, probably.
Probably.
I still got keys that I've never used in it. That I need to do something with, I guess, at some point.
I was saying you should donate those to Barry.
Yeah. Let's see what I get. Oh, and Barry got himself a reward too.
Yeah, it took me more monkeying around than I thought, but at least I understand the system a little bit better now, and maybe next time it comes up, I'll be able to actually participate in more of the broadcasts, if you want to call it that. But
I watched in. Oh, go ahead.
After 2 full days of watching, basically, for the first and third day of the finals, were the only 2 I was able to tune in for, basically, and didn't get anything the first day, and the second day I got a set of the Aether wheels. So, nice compliment to the rewards I'd gotten last time around on the tournament.
Yeah.
Did you actually watch them?
I watched a good chunk of the third day because it was on. I didn't actually watch any of the finals because I was out of the house and it was just playing on its own.
Same with me. I would just watch very small portions, and then that was enough esports for now.
But that's
Yeah.
where I caught that little interview thing.
I haven't bothered to log in to check to see if I got anything yet.
You would have got a whisper.
Oh, that's true. But you get it like hours later usually.
Sometimes, yeah.
I've had it like the next day even.
I wish Fortnite had something like that. I will say that's a very nice feature for Rocket League to have. The fan rewards. You watch Rocket League sanctioned matches on Twitch and unlock in-game rewards for it.
Did anyone watch? I know they've had the summer skirmishes going on, and I know all of us have played Fortnite at least a little. Did anyone watch any of the Fortnite matches?
I did not.
No.
I just can't get into it. These whippersnappers and their Twitch.
I would rather just be playing the game.
Yeah.
If I've had time to sit and watch it, and I'd rather just play it.
That goes for any game, for the most part.
Except for Z when he plays Octodad.
Oh, I'll watch that all day.
Okay, yeah, no, that right. You're right. There's some exceptions where I'd really rather watch somebody play. Like Octodad, same thing in hindsight. I think I'd rather watch somebody else play it than play it myself.
Wow.
Oh.
That's high praise.
Well, for the first 10 minutes, it's fun to play, and then after that, I'd want somebody to take over and continue it for me.
Yeah.
That'd be a great game for us to stream on Twitch. It's just good stuff.
Yeah, one of these evenings we'll definitely have to do that.
I would watch you play it again.
I would too.
That was good.
Two thumbs up.
Definitely.
So, speaking of Fortnite, we might as well mention there are some things going on in Fortnite. First of all, if you've been playing and have completed all of the weekly challenges, you have the Battle Pass. Then we've unlocked the new skin, which is he has really poor taste in pants.
The enforcer who's wearing Dickies work pants from Walmart.
That's right.
Or Dockers. Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like it was as unique or as cool as last season's Visitor.
Yeah.
But hey, it's another character. It's another skin you get out of your battle pass. So
that's true.
I'll take it, I guess. But yeah, it wasn't as awesome.
And of course, the other end of that is the in-game events have started. The rifts in the sky have disappeared. Lightning was striking the ground, and now a cube has appeared, which has been rolling around. And there's even a website dedicated to this, and I just shout out to that website. Brilliant.
Yeah.
You can get real-time updates of what's happening with this cube and when it's going to move next.
This is what we've become.
We get in the
tracking
game.
the movement of a cube inside the game.
That's right. And we have got online to watch it before.
I guess it's this season's rocket launch countdown, kind of. It's like we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but there was a cube that appeared on like a mountain, kind of, and then it started rolling, and then it was rolling every hour and 43 minutes or something. It would make a rotation. It's like it's kind of boring, but at the same time, you're like, "Ooh, where's the cube going? Where's it headed? What's it doing?"
We want to see it crash a building or a
yeah, they're good at mystery. I want to see it crush a person.
And every play, and at least in 50-50s, and I think we maybe even saw this in something else. There's someone that dies from attacking the cube, and it will attack back.
Yeah. And you'll see a little thing that says blah 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 was killed by or got too close to cube. It just shows like a little white square.
It kind of
killed by a white square. Yeah.
Is that the thing that was acting as a trampoline too?
Yeah, you can bounce. You can bounce on it. If you get close to it, it'll give you shields. Like it'll spawn slowly. Like give you shields by standing next to it.
When you get so close, like a little sound effect occurs, and you'll have a pop up on the screen. It looks like you're entering into a area or something like a force field.
Yeah, well now it has stopped moving today, and now there is a little dome around it of low gravity. So if you're in this dome, you can jump, and you'll kind of have a floatier jump.
Kind of like the jump rocks.
Yeah, Yeah, a lot like that too, because I think your legs turn purple when you're in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a fascinating, fun time. It continues to keep us entertained while Nintendo tries to think of something else they could release that we might be into.
That's right. All right, so continuing on with new game releases. Earlier this week, we heard that there would be a new game announced for Shovel Knight's Treasure Trove, and is going to be announced by IGN, and it coincides with PAX West. And finally, we got the information today. Shovel Knight Showdown, which is the best we can gather, a multiplayer fighting game, sort of.
Kind of.
It sounds like quite a departure, because all the other Shovel Knight games have been sort of an adventure, side-scrolling type game, and this is a fighting game.
They did mention the King of Cards, or whatever it is,
still coming.
Expansion is still coming, and they said it's going to be the biggest of the games as far as size-wise. But yeah, this one, the big surprise to me out of this one is it's coming to every system except for 3DS. So if you bought the Treasure Trove on 3DS, you'll have one less game than anyone who had it on any other system, including Wii U.
That's kind of sad, because I just realized my Treasure Trove is on 3DS.
Yeah, you should write them a letter. Tell them you want a Switch code. See what they do. They're pretty cool. They might give one away.
Yeah, they are pretty decent. They might offer me a deal or something.
Now I'm wondering if they're going to sell it as an individual game on the 3DS. I can't imagine it. I don't know what. I wonder what the hiccup was there. If they just didn't feel like putting it into 3D, or if there's like some sort of technical specification somehow that, it doesn't seem like it's a very technical heavy game. Being that they've been able to run it on 3DS, so this seems like the same graphics pretty much.
Are all the other versions something where it wouldn't need, like on a 3DS, if you want to play multiplayer, it's got to be able to connect to another 3DS. Whereas with the other systems, you could play multiple players on the same system, right?
You might be onto something there.
Yeah, I guess so. They would have had to make it like local play only.
Well, they haven't confirmed that this will be online, have they?
No, it probably is local, but I mean, they would have to use the actual local Wi-Fi for the 3DS, and maybe that was a hiccup or something.
That does seem weird. I can't think of technical reasons, but
yeah, I mean, they had Street Pass functionality, so for Shovel Knight, which is dead now, probably. Good luck Street Passing someone else who has Shovel Knight, or anyone. Period.
I don't know. The last time I took my 3DS out, and I got a Street Pass, so it's kind of I just had it with me. I was going to somewhere else, and I wasn't really out for a Street Pass, and I ended up getting one. I was quite surprised. You got to remember, it's got a huge install base.
Yeah, it does. I've all but forgotten about it. If it wasn't for Luigi's Mansion, I haven't played anything on my 3DS in a long time.
I just play Badge Arcade. I pretty much open it, play it once a day, and then shut it off.
I haven't even played Badge Arcade in weeks.
Yeah, I've given up on it. It's been months.
I still pick it up once in a while. Like I'll do a competition in Shuffle, or I'll hop on for a round or two of Sub Wars or whatever, but not very often anymore. Maybe once or twice a week.
The Switch is taking over.
Yeah. Fortnite's taking over.
That's right. Ooh, if they could get that on 3DS, now we're talking.
Well, the only thing is not on at this point.
Yeah.
All right. So we do have some other Switch games coming out. One of them that was kind of a surprise release was Saints Row the Third is coming to Switch. It's if you're not familiar with the game, it's a 2011 game that was released on other platforms. And the odd thing about this is that this is not the newest game in the series. there is Saints Row 4th, or number 4. So, not really sure why Deep Silver is suddenly bringing this year, or...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I'd be happy with, like, GTA 4. Or 3.
It sounds like an
Yeah.
experiment that was easy for them to bring over. That's probably
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah. Like LA Noire or whatever. Like it's a weird test item.
Speaking of which, I noticed LA Noire is 50% off this week.
Oh. Pass. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, 2000. I don't know. It's like it's, I guess, good. Maybe it's THQ just testing the water, I guess. Say let's see if these guys will just buy anything.
It's a really odd thing. I mean, why bring this older of a game, 7-year-old game? What do they hope? I mean, are there really that many Switch players out there that are saying, "Oh, I enjoy playing this"?
I think they are just testing to see, like, hey, if we just put out something. I don't know how well received that game was, or if it was.
Isn't Diablo 3 even older? Like,
It might be.
Seems similar.
Well, this one seems more like almost like a GTA style. Diablo 3 came out in May of 2012. Looks like so.
Okay. So
same era. So the Switch is getting some PS3 era stuff, early PS3 era stuff. So hey, maybe that does mean we might get GTA. Be nice to see. Yeah, I mean, I'm not super excited about this. It's nice that it's coming. I almost feel like these are games that people who already played them might be interested in, but I don't know if they're gonna. It's like, are you gonna pick up fans and people are gonna be like, I never played a Saints Row game, but now I got it on Switch and it's great. I guess I'll have to go out and buy a PS4 and so I can buy the newest installment, which isn't coming to Switch.
They might pick up a few people who'd heard about these games, at some point in the past, but never really got a chance to try one.
Yeah, that could be. Like I said, I don't know that THQ has put out hardly anything on Switch. I don't know. I don't know how many games they've got. So maybe they're just trying to test some of their stuff. THQ Nordic. We'll see. Meh.
Speaking of niche games coming out, would you have news that a new Wii game is coming out? This game will be coming to Wii and Switch. It will not be coming to Wii U, so if you're hoping for a new Wii U game, I'm sorry. And of course, we're talking about Let's Sing 2019.
Yeah, I think I heard this one's supposed to drop in December. And of course, the Wii U can play Wii games, so if you really wanted to, you can play it that way.
And that is THQ as well. THQ Nordic, so.
Really? I didn't realize that.
See, they're throwing all their games at us now. I'm assuming this means that we're gonna have to get a microphone somewhere. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Because there's no microphone built into the Switch. They haven't announced much detail, but I'm assuming a game called Let's Sing. I'm not familiar with it, but I'm assuming you're gonna have to sing.
Oh, that's interesting. Are we back to the era of having to plug in a USB microphone like in the old the Wii and Wii U era?
It very well may be, and maybe it'll come bundled with a microphone.
There was a previous Let's Sing game like 3 years prior, wasn't there?
There may have been. And let us not forget, while we're also getting Just Dance 2019 for the Wii.
So 2 new releases for the Wii this year.
I'd just like to reiterate our plea every time this comes up. If you are buying these games for the Wii, reach out to us, send us a message on, on YouTube or on Twitter, or if you need to email us privately due to shame, I understand. But
Of course.
Do we have
Or
a
a
shame
video
email
of
address?
playing.
we have you can contact us through email on YouTube, I do believe.
You could DM us on the Twitter.
Yeah, we'll answer you if you direct messages. We will answer you. So, yeah, it's fascinating to me.
It's still doing well enough. It's like, how long can this train go on? In fact, I wonder, does Just Dance come out for like are they still putting it out for like PS2?
When did the Wii launch? This is what? 12 years later, something like that, or no?
Might be more than that.
Yeah, I think it was 2006. That sounds right.
Was it 6?
Okay,
That's what I remember. Yeah.
So 12, 13 years later, there's still games coming out for the Wii. What was the last games released? Like, how long were the NES or Super NES windows when they were still releasing NES games? However many years later?
Oh, some of those went for a while. It probably rivals it.
I'm just wondering if it's surpassed that mark yet. For the longest system to still be getting games later.
Yeah.
I'm still just trying to figure out who these people are that have a Wii set up at their home, and there's like somebody comes over and is like, "Hey, I see you've got your Wii set up," and they'll say, "Yeah, man, I keep that set up just for Just Dance."
Same people still buying DVDs, man.
I guess. Oh, I don't throw that off. People are not that. I mean, wow.
I imagine it's like grandparents bought a Wii for the grandkids, and oh look, there's a new game. Get it for them when they come to visit.
I don't know. I mean, the dance I can see sort of because, and I guess this thing to a certain extent too, it's the type of game that's very Wii-ish. It's still got sort of that motion and interactive component that you didn't have on other systems to the same extent.
Yeah.
And again, you had the big install base there, so it kind of makes sense in a way.
I guess I just wonder how much of that install base still has the thing hooked up. But enough, apparently.
I know 2 people have a Wii hooked up to their TV. 2 different people.
Well, is one of them you?
No.
Oh.
I don't know where my Wii is. I lost it. In the shed somewhere when we moved.
I think I know one.
Sad.
I think I know one for sure. And then possibly, including myself, there are others who have transferred their Wii stuff over to the Wii U, so it's still technically there and available. My
other question is this game going to be for sale at local retailers? You drive down at Best Buy and say, I need Let's Sing 2019 for Wii?
I imagine that's going to be something you order off of Amazon only, pretty much.
I don't know, maybe Walmart or something. Walmart and Fred Meyer still have some Wii games here.
Yeah, our Walmart still gets the Let's Dance stuff in or whatever, so I'm sure good chance they'll get this one as well.
Wow.
That's mind-blowing.
Hardcore gamers only.
That's right.
Whatever. Somebody loves them, apparently.
Somebody.
Enough.
Yeah.
Where they're extremely cheap to make.
That has to be a conversation that Ubisoft has every year. Like, we're going to do this again? Like, yes. Like, you're serious? You really want to do this again? They're like, yeah. We sold this many. They're like, all right.
I wonder if they have, we have to sell X copies.
Well, I'm sure there's got to be a benchmark where they're like, if we don't sell this many, it's not coming out next year for this system. But it must be doing well enough.
I wonder what that cutoff is.
Maybe at this point they know people aren't actually buying them, but stores are still stupid enough to buy them and stock them, and then they just never sell. So they're like, as long as we can still keep getting orders from stores, we'll just keep putting it out.
They gotta have something on their Wii shelf.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Aside from some old, Wiimotes and other accessories that are kicking around.
It's exciting. the most time we should ever spend on those two games.
That's right.
Agreed.
But if we get a microphone peripheral, who cares?
That's right.
It'll be interesting.
All right. Well, we did have another announcement that actually dropped immediately after we recorded last week, so this is a week-old news, but I still think it's interesting. Arcade Archives Excitebike will be available this fall in Japan. As far as I know, that's still not confirmed for the West. I don't know if it's been updated or not.
They've been kind of quiet about the Arcade Archives. Like you said, they didn't really make a big stink about Punch-Out or even Donkey Kong, really. Like they sent a tweet and that was basically it. But they're not really playing these up like they did at the very, very beginning. To the point that we don't really even know what games are coming. But apparently Excitebike is.
And I wonder if these will stop once the Switch Online service comes out.
Being that these are arcade ports, I guess they can technically coexist. But,
they're on every other console, tons of them. So yeah. I assume they'll just keep rolling out. They just, they'll try not to clash with what's on Nintendo's service just because it will hurt them money-wise. But,
Well, we know Donkey Kong is a launch title of the Nintendo service. And its ACA just came out. Excitebike's probably on there. I don't know if that one's announced yet or not. But that's one that Nintendo loves to release. It's not that great, really.
I'm always surprised that, while I'll agree that it's not that great, it's been a game that's stuck around. Like, people know it. I remember playing it a fair bit when I was a kid, and it did have some nice features in the editing capabilities for the tracks and stuff, and something about it really hit a nerve because it does have that recognizability that a lot of others don't.
It's got a great name.
Yeah.
Excitebike sounds exciting. It isn't. But it sounds like it.
I played it a lot as a kid too. I mean, it's something I enjoyed.
I've had friends that have said, they spent hours making custom racetracks and stuff like that it doesn't save. I remember. But
I did.
Just messing around. Yeah, so
I totally did.
It's a thing. There's a series who's ready for a reboot.
I would love to see. I totally would. I'd play a new one.
Get a little HD rumble as you're going over the humps.
I was happy to see the tracks from it put into Mario Kart 8.
I thought that was totally awesome. I loved that that track. And most people that I played with are way younger than me, and they're like, they have no idea what the hell it is. But I think it's awesome.
It stands out
it's unique.
as a different track. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be another game that would tie in well with Labo.
Yeah, they've already got the handlebars.
If they make one, they'll do it, but I won't use the Labo handlebars.
And you could probably recreate Excitebike with the motorcycle track editor or whatever it is.
Probably.
It's some vague approximation of it, probably, but
yeah, I don't know. I think the controls are too, off on just to switch lanes. Tapping it wouldn't translate that well to the steering mechanism. I mean, you could do it, but wouldn't feel natural.
Yeah.
All right.
We're super excited about Excitebike. Speaking of,
speaking of old NES games, we got a bit of news coming out of Japan again, and that is there will be a double pack for the Famicom Classic Mini. It will include both the NES and the Super NES, or the Famicom and Super Famicom. It's been listed by Japanese retailers. Release date September 15th. And if you're wondering, the price is around $135.
I think that would be a huge hit in the U.S. come Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see them both sold together.
Yeah, I got them both. So, well, no, I don't have the
Famicom.
Asian version. Yeah, I don't have the. I actually, I have a guilty admission to make. I did actually just pick up the Famicom Mini, just because it's so adorable, and those little controllers are just so tiny. They're so awesome. I had to have it.
And hardwired, right?
And hardwired. I'm not going to bother hacking it because there's no point.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could play the games with little tiny controllers, but it's annoying. So yeah, but the thing's adorable, and I never had a Famicom, and it came out like a full 2 years before the NES. So it's, you know what I mean? It's almost like it was another console before it was kind of reborn.
It looks like the Radio Shack console.
It totally does. Yeah, it's totally like rinky-dink looking. I wish the big giant ass eject switch on the Mini worked. Like you could actually slide it, but you can't.
No one under a certain age will probably remember Radio Shack, but it was a store.
Sadly, I know, man.
Yeah. It was a store.
Radio Shack was awesome when we were kids.
Yeah. It had its own versions of everything. Realistic was their brand.
Now, but this begs the question of whether there'll be a combo pack for Christmas here.
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I think this will probably appeal to people that are collecting the minis, and it's like, I maybe would like to have the Japanese version, but I don't know. This will be a good opportunity.
You want to talk about rare, like down the line on eBay. It's like, oh, they've got the rare one where there was both of them in the same box.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I was talking about a combo pack with the American ones, but
yeah, which I don't think we'll see the U.S. versions packaged like this, not yet, anyway.
But $135, that's a discount, right? I mean, the two of those bought separately would be
120.
Well, 140 bucks. So it's $5 off. If you $5 off if you buy them.
Is it 60 and 80?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was translating yen to US dollars, so it may.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that may be. Yeah. Because 150 yen would be $150 US. I mean, if you were doing a straight conversion, but it fluctuates. So that's just based on whatever the price was at the time. And apparently our dollar's weaker these days.
I thought it was odd. The price for it is 15,077 yen. I don't know what the 77 is about. I don't. It's just an odd number.
Yeah.
Maybe that was somebody said this is how much it is with tax. No idea.
That should have been the retailer's listing. That's where it was coming.
All those 77s add up, Jason.
Those 77s,
yeah, right. Certain like Walmart always has stuff that's like
88 or
yeah. So maybe it's just the retailer is kind of like that.
And that way Walmart can say they have the cheaper price because everywhere else it's 99.
There is a bizarre grocery store around here that has the lowest price on everything, and there's these signs all over the store that say just add like 8 or 7% when you check out. There's a fee, a shopper's fee of like 7 or 8% that they just tack on to the thing, which boggles my mind. It's like, they're like, look at this great deal we've got on this. Yeah, look at this great deal. We've got this ketchup is 8% less than you would buy at another store. Just add 8% at the checkout.
We used to have those chains around here. I think it was called Save a Lot or something like that.
Yeah. It's kind of like
that make you bag your own groceries as well?
This place does. Yep. Mm-hmm. We've got a new special this week only. Pay as you exit.
You guys have food for less out there? That's one of those chains out here.
No. I don't think so. There's probably a million. I still can't tell if this place is local or not. But Nintendo should get in on the grocery store business.
No,
I don't know where I'm going with that.
Can you imagine with a Nintendo grocery store? It would only carry one brand.
Everything would suck and be like 8 years old. Or be independently made by some company you've never heard of before.
That's right.
But that's what all the ads would be about. Work.
Our products never expire.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to derail us into shoppers clubs.
I want to go back to your comment on ramen earlier, but I will not go back there because stovetop stuffing is
Because
just
it didn't make any sense.
ramen.
It makes sense to me. Stovetop stuffing is just ramen noodles, but with breadcrumbs. There's chicken,
I mean,
there's turkey.
And there's some kind of salty broth that flavors
yeah.
it all. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just soaks into the bread. Okay,
Yeah.
I sort of see where you're going with that. It's
just
like
flavored
instant
salt.
ramen. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, since we're talking about ROMs,
Oh, snap.
oh, I worked that one.
Saved that one.
Nice one.
So, Nintendo and LoveRoms have officially agreed to settle out of court. LoveRoms has asked for 3 weeks stay so they can try to figure out some of their sources here. But it's good news. They will not be sued for billions and billions of dollars, most likely. So, Nintendo is making the waves they're hoping to, I think, with this.
They're going to be like, do you guys know how to port games? We've got a bunch of stuff we're trying to get in on this Nintendo Online service, and we don't know how.
That's why they want the documentation. They're just wanting their instructions.
Can you show us how to get these ROMs onto a Switch?
Right. Seriously, didn't they? As far as I understand, like hackers confirmed. Well, first of all, the Mini is running like a freely available freeware NES emulator. That's a known. It's called Canoe. There's one of many. But they also apparently hackers figured out that these ROMs came from this, like the ROMs themselves are pirate ROMs that are on the NES Mini. People have confirmed, they've traced some little bit of code that says, oh yeah, this is the one that came from this site, or these developers or this hacker that ripped this. It's just funny. Like they really, and again, as somebody who's been I've been sitting on these things for a while, and I finally started hacking them over the weekend. They come with a data cable, which I know I mentioned to you guys before, but that still just boggles my mind that they could have come with a charge-only cable. There's absolutely zero reason for these things to come, and it's a thick, heavy gauge, shielded, like it's a thick-ass cable. And when I first pulled it out of the box, I was like, wow, they gave me some fancy power cable with this. It's actually kind of stiff and unwieldy. But then I realized, the cable that comes with it, you can just plug into your computer and immediately just start downloading more ROMs onto your machine, which of course all of which I've legitimately, come into possession of. But it really almost feels like to me like they designed this to be stupid easy, but it's like, that's just, again, we know Nintendo likes to just not make money in a lot of cases, but it almost feels like they've decided they're just not going to try to make money off these games anymore. And instead they're going to use them for marketing purposes and use them to sell their online service, for example, but not really sell them themselves anymore.
I really think that's what this is all about, this taking out lawsuits with these ROM companies. I think they're trying to secure things to make way for the online service. They're wanting to make sure that that they have a product that has value or something. I don't know.
It's the reason drug dealers kill the other drug dealers in your town.
And it's kind of like I remember when Google Music first, came on the scene, when they first, announced it, and they said, we're going to have an amnesty program for, the first 10,000 songs. We won't, rat you out to the recording industry or whatever. Right. And it almost feels like this is kind of Nintendo's quiet way of doing the same thing. Like, okay, we're going to put these out. They're going to be easily hackable so people can add ROMs to them and make their own little ROM gaming machines, because we know everybody's just spending $20 for a Raspberry Pi off the internet and doing it anyway. And then at some point, they're just going to lay the smack down. That said, there is just endless ROM sites, you know, searchable archives of every game for every console ever made. And I've heard of Nintendo shutting, busting 2 or 3 of them, like the biggest ones. But there's dozens and dozens and dozens of them. Like, I don't, this isn't a winnable battle. And I don't see them really looking like they're trying to make examples out of these big sites. So I don't know.
Well, I think that might be what they are doing. They might just be kind of sending a message to everyone else, like, hey, if you don't want this to happen to you, maybe it's time to shut your store down too.
But at least as of right now,
there have been a couple that have done that.
1 or 2 maybe, but I mean, at least as of right now, just Google any NES game or any console game name, and then the word ROM, and see what you get, and see if those links are still there. Because as far as I'm finding, they all are.
Yeah.
I have yet to click on anything, in my various hunts over just for, educational purposes only, of course. Over the past weekend, I have yet to click on something that isn't there.
Interesting. Do you think
there's plenty of ROMs out there all over the internets, and probably will be forever? But sorry, go ahead, Jason.
Do you think this is Nintendo's statement to the other ROM sites to shut down, or do you think they're going to continue to pursue this and start going after other ones?
It's like Vietnam, man. They can spend as much money and resources as they want on it, and none of these people have any money, right? These people aren't making any money off this stuff, and these are like college kids or guys in their basement or whatever. It's not like this is a big business. So Nintendo can sue and they can issue cease and desists, but if somebody's got no money, they've got no money. What are you going to do? So it's like, Nintendo's going to spend a lot of money and resources and whatever to make a big stink about this, but they can just keep shutting them down. They'll keep popping up, and they're never going to get a penny out of any of it. So at some point, I don't know. It's an unwinnable battle. They know that. They're doing it for show, obviously, and doesn't really make sense unless there's some major smackdown coming that we haven't seen yet.
I just think about them going after YouTube creators that are sharing their games, and how all of us, even if we shared them through the Wii U's interface, we still got content strike and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They will always be protective of their brand and how their brand is presented. But it seems like the ROMs themselves, as is, outside of what they've been appearing to do lately, it doesn't seem like they've done much. And they haven't done much for 20 years. Like, this stuff's always been out there.
I think it'd be funny if the ROM sites just took off all the Nintendo branded games, but still had, like all the Tecmo games and all the...
There's 1 or 2 that I ran across that seem to have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least all the Nintendo published or whatever. It seems like all the Marios are gone and all that kind of stuff's gone, but yeah, anything else is still there.
But enjoy the full library of LGN games. Or LJN and Acclaim and Konami.
Yeah.
Make them come after us. Tecmo. Dang it. All right.
Speaking of all these developers, we did hear from Bethesda recently regarding Switch. This comes from Pete Hines. And I'm just going to read the quote here because I think it just summarizes it better than I could have. And this is what he said. It was hugely popular, all of the stuff that we did. I'm assuming he's talking about Switch games. I think folks enjoyed and appreciated, and we wanted to make sure and say right up front that this is the title we want to bring to Switch, and we think it's going to be another awesome experience.
Yeah, he was talking of Doom Eternal at the time.
Doom Eternal, yes.
So, which is, I know 2K had a comment as well. I guess they're skipping bringing WWE this year, but they are bringing the NBA 2K19. But
So they're only going to suck half as much this year?
Yeah. They had said something about they wanted to focus on, having the same quality experience across every console. So I guess they couldn't do that last year, so they've decided to drop that one. But yeah, Bethesda's apparently done okay. Like I said, we haven't seen numbers, but it's encouraging that they keep releasing stuff. So I gotta say, they are the Ubisoft of this generation for sure. So far, anyway. Which means they've probably got like another 6 months before they drop all support.
All right.
Like Ubisoft did.
And speaking of more third-party games coming to Switch, we also heard from Soul Calibur 6. This comes from a DualShockers interview at Gamescom, and the producer says, if there is a possibility to bring this game to Switch, that would be great. But right now we're focusing on the launch of the game on other platforms. So after the launch, then we'll possibly consider bringing it to Switch. I know that's a really disappointing thing to hear as a Switch fan, that we're kind of almost an afterthought. Like, depending on how well this does elsewhere, maybe we'll bring it to Switch.
Yeah, it sounds like they don't want to do it, but they need to say they might.
Good old Nintendo afterthought.
That's what we are.
They do it to themselves.
They do, yeah. And us, of course, because, as people who buy into the console, yeah. Just on a nice counter there.
We wandered into the very dark world of where the Switch is at. Anyway, speaking of where the Switch is at, perhaps we should talk about the operating system. And this is something that came out at the CEDEC this year, and the creators of the Switch operating system actually spoke about it. And it said some of their goals in design was to keep it simple, game-focused, and appear to be easy to use. And they actually was inspired by the NES because of its simplicity. So we found out the actual file size for this is 200 kilobytes, which, as Mo said, is smaller than any picture he has taken.
Now, is that for the whole OS, or is that just for the menu interface? Because I thought it was for the menu.
I'm thinking it probably is for the menu.
It's got to be. That can't be the entire OS.
Yeah.
That's a NES ROM right there.
Yeah, it's pretty small.
And that said, I imagine their design philosophy, like it was probably beaten into them and putting stickies on their cubicle, less is more, do as much as you can with as little as possible kind of thing. And it seems like that was the mantra all around, like try to cram as much into this thing as possible, as little space as possible kind of thing.
That's Nintendo's mantra, do as much as you can with as little as possible.
Yeah. with as old and cheap a hardware as you can get away with. Yeah.
You've got no storage, now go.
I mean, I guess in a way I'm thankful that it's a small file size, because it's taking up that precious internal memory that is so small. Which I'm seeing.
Yeah. It'd be nice to see it. I think we're all ready for a nice hardware refresh. Or a software refresh, rather. Give us some backgrounds.
This part of the thing that really I'm missing from the Switch is that Nintendo feel. Even from the eShop and things, you see the little jingles and the odd little things they did. That's all part of being on Nintendo, and people still talk about that and still bring it up. There's recordings of just the music from the eShop
on the minis. The minis have a little like Easter egg thing. Like if you leave them idle for a while, Mario and Luigi come out and start like changing your settings and stuff. Like that's very, very Nintendo.
Right. Yeah, that's something that's missing from Switch. And I wonder, or I shouldn't say I wonder, but I feel like when they get away from this, they get away from the soul of Nintendo. It's something that makes it uniquely Nintendo. I hope they come around to realizing that.
Yeah. They could at least offer a option
Right.
Basic mode or deluxe mode or whatever.
You can pay for deluxe mode.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
subscribed to the online service, you can get deluxe
right.
mode.
For an extra $5.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't pay $5 for it.
Yes, you would.
I paid $1.
A whole year, $5. Well, you guys wouldn't even pay
for a year.
You guys wouldn't even pay for Pokebank, man.
It was $5 for a year. It was $5 a month. I wouldn't.
No, of course not. We're all talking yearly here. $20
okay.
a year still is dirt.
Yeah, that's cheap. That's dirt cheap.
We'll see. There was rumor, some hacker said that there is an OS, or that there's another firmware on the verge, right?
That's right. We are thinking that 6.0 is coming out. So it's just a rumor, but we don't know.
It seems to make sense that when the online hits, there's going to be a firmware update, and then there'll be another one a few days after.
To fix whatever they broke.
Fix all the bugs.
Yeah. Yep.
But since we're talking about Nintendo Switch Online, we did get some other information this week and come through their website, which is, we predicted we'll get updates. So we found out we will be able to have voice chat while playing these NES games through the app, which is something that we had discussed prior to tonight. And I thought this was interesting. Speaking about multiplayer, they list you can compete or cooperate, you can share the screen, or you can pass the controller. So I'm thinking these games will all have their own varied way of playing online. Pass the controller sounds the most exciting out of all of those.
Yeah, it's not. Nope.
Don't you just wish you could watch me play Fortnite and then say, okay, it's your turn to play?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was exactly what we complained about basically every game on the early NES except for a few. Like, the only reason we played the crap out of Balloon Fight was because it was the only game where you could both play at the same time that I had for a very long time.
Although it could be cool if somebody's like, all right, now every time I get to this boss, I die. And you're like, oh, I'm really good at it. And you're like, all right, well, watch this. And then you go there and I can pass the controller to you and you can show me how you beat the boss.
I'm trying to think other games where you're playing at the same time. And what comes to my mind is some of the hockey games, like the, ice hockey or Blades of Steel type thing. There you'd be
both of which we played. Yeah, that was my primary experience with hockey growing up here in the States. Was those two games.
Press to pass.
Yeah.
Blades of Steel.
Rebel.
Yeah, I've got Blades. I've got Blades of Steel.
One of the big highlights was the little intermission game.
Yeah, it was Gradius. And Blades of Steel, the little intermission game. One of them was the Gradius boss fight.
Yeah,
which was also by Konami.
I had completely forgotten about that.
I'm surprised that one hasn't come back. That one wasn't sanctioned by anybody. It didn't have any real player names. Or maybe it was. I don't remember if that was on the Wii or not. Yeah.
No, they just had city names and.
Yeah. Too bad.
It is too bad.
A classic. I wouldn't mind seeing the. I mean, I'm really surprised. Like Tecmo Bowl stands as a shining example of what can be done, in which they took that game and scrubbed all the player names from it so that they could release it, which makes me think like some of these old licensed games could have new life, maybe. But EA Hockey 96 or something, and they just take all the names out and all the logos out. Sorry.
Yeah.
We need Blades of Steel. We need any hockey game on Switch. Really.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been less impressed with the more modern ones, ironically.
By the way, the NES version was re-released for Nintendo's Virtual Console in 2007. The Blades of Steel. I didn't realize that.
Huh.
All right, that was our Blades of Steel segment.
That's right. So getting back to Nintendo Switch Online, that was half the information release. The other half actually came from the producer of Diablo 3, or associate producer, excuse me. So they explained how the cloud saves will work. So for Diablo 3, the file will be auto-uploaded at regular intervals. So it's nothing you have to go click a button and tell it to save. That kind of has its ups and downs. And it's transferable to other consoles. And the example they gave was, go to a friend's house and you could download your save data and play there on their Switch. And for Diablo 3 specifically, they said everything but the leaderboards would be included in the cloud save. So I don't know about you guys. First thing I thought about is cloud saves and Animal Crossing. That's just because I think that was the game I feared losing my saves in the most.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, even Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that's the one I most think about.
That was the heartbreaker for all those people with the early Switch systems that broke.
I did all of the major games, right? I might very well pick up Mario Odyssey in 5 years and go get some more moons or something. Right? I just did another dungeon in Ocarina of Time. I plugged in the 64 and did the Forest Temple. That's like the first time I fired up that game in 20 years. So I totally for as far as cloud saves go, anything and everything, because I like being OCD or not OCD. What ADD. I just pick a game at random that maybe I haven't played in 10 years and just pick up where I left off. So as far as I'm concerned, I just want it all if I can.
Is that too much to ask, Nintendo? We just want everything.
Well, any major Nintendo game, at least a cloud save, that to me should just have been given 10 years ago. Sorry, Barry.
Oh, I'm just trying to figure out parallels here. Like it says everything but leaderboards. So I could see in Rocket League where they've got their boards and stuff that's sort of separate. Thinking about Splatoon, however, they really don't have that. At the end of each one, it doesn't record your results for past Splatfests or anything. It just gets you your award and tells you what the results were for that last one, and that's it.
It does in the app.
And the app does.
And it does in game for the league play.
Okay. Prove me wrong, I guess. Maybe they'll incorporate a bit more of that. By the way, has anyone checked the results of the most recent Splatfest?
Well, that's right. The big spoon versus fork controversy. I think we all went Team Spoon, and from what I saw, Team Fork was the winner, 2-1.
Yeah, Team Spoon was the popular choice, so of course it lost. Same pattern.
The randos let me down on my friend list. So they all chose Team Fork, so thanks, randos.
What a Fork King letdown.
No. It was a very interesting sound. But anyway, perhaps we should move on from cloud saves. That's going to be saved in a cloud somewhere. But anyway, to close out tonight, we'll talk about, of course, as promised in the opening, Shigeru Miyamoto, also known as Shiggy. I don't know if anyone else actually calls him that but me. I've heard that at some point. It's always stayed in my mind. And see the title this week, it'll make sense. So he did the keynote address at the CD, let's see, what is it? Computer Entertainment Developers Conference, which we talked about earlier. And he basically talked about some of the things in his experience. One of them being he talked about was MMORPGs, and he said he has no interest in making one because he doesn't want to focus on just one game over a long period of time, and he doesn't like the business model for it. And all I can think of is he doesn't want to focus on one game for a long period of time, and then they keep telling us, continue to enjoy the games you already have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that seems to be their thing lately.
No, but that's talking from developing perspective, isn't it? Like he doesn't want to be constantly working on upgrading the same game over and over and continuing to tweak it.
Just it's typical Nintendo of just refusing to accept where things are going. Like some sort of persistent online world is what everybody else is jumping into and realizing there's money to be made. And Nintendo's like, no, we're not going to do that just because everybody else is doing it. Because, right, Nintendo has that mindset, blue ocean. But that blinds them to, like, there's plenty of room for everybody to get on this train. Like, it's like when they finally got on the Smash Brothers train, it was way after Street Fighter 2 had run its course. And there was still plenty of room for them, right? Obviously, Smash Brothers is huge now, so it's the same deal here, where it's like there's plenty of room, plenty of people would line up and pay money for any Nintendo MMORPG, a Pokemon one, a Zelda one, a Mario one, but it requires infrastructure, and they don't want to do that. They want to be a toy company. They still want to be a toy company. They don't want to be a technology company. But unfortunately, that's what they are, whether they like it or not. My opinion, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a Nintendo MMO would be huge. I mean, I think it would be huge on a scale that Nintendo doesn't even realize.
It would be bigger than Pokemon Go, I would think. Well, no, because, unless it was on your phone. But it would be bigger than Fortnite or as big.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Kind of thing you see on the local news.
Maybe
if it was if it was of reasonable quality, and I mean, Nintendo level reasonable quality, and it was based on either Pokemon, Mario, or Zelda.
Yeah.
Really, maybe not Mario. That would
Animal
be
Crossing.
Oh, I'm sorry, or Animal Crossing. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Or Fire.
Maybe even Fire Emblem. Maybe they could pull off a Fire Emblem based
That would be
MMO.
close.
Yeah.
Or even a Federation Force one. Maybe not. But right, any
Star
one of
Fox.
these would make tons of money.
Star Fox versus Samus.
Well, but what if they combined the universes of Star Fox and Metroid and made a space MMO a la, Elite Dangerous or something? That would, but Nintendo style, cartoony and awesome. Like we would all sink money into that in a heartbeat. I'm just saying, but they don't want to do it, so screw them.
I don't mean to divert the subject here, but when we were naming games there, did I hear Max say Flip Wars?
Sub Wars.
Oh, okay.
I guess it.
I was like, whoa.
Sub Wars would be
hard.
Want to
go into the blue ocean? Let's get serious.
Sub Wars would be hard to pull off as an MMO, but what you could do with Sub Wars is something kind of like a Rocket League type model, where it's they have a kind of a whole league type thing built around it, right, with different rankings and different achievements and yada yada and different seasons. Right, you could do that with any kind of competitive multiplayer game. If you did that with something like Sub Wars, I think it would do well, and it would be a good toe in the water for Nintendo because they like to do that.
Yeah.
Free to play is what made
Mario
that
Kart rankings and all the
I mean, fair enough.
competition.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point. That's the direction that they should have gone with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and didn't, and why it. I'm sure it sold well enough, but it's just another damn Mario Kart. Why they could totally steal ideas from Rocket League without really stealing them, because it's kind of a common thing, not necessarily loot boxes, but everything else. Right, you already unlock stuff at random at the end of matches anyway, or by collecting coins or yada yada. Every so often you unlock a special rare item that gets you a super boost or gets you a whatever. And Nintendo won't do loot boxes, so that's cool. They need to get wise. This is the kind of stuff they need to add to all of their games with their online service. My opinion.
That'd be a great addition. That'd be more interesting than old NES games that I could watch you play.
get to the part where
Yeah, that's so
Shigeru
exciting.
invents Minecraft.
Oh yeah, I'll bring this part up. Yeah, I'll let you explain this one, Mo. This is
Oh, I don't even know. I just know that someone had asked him about Minecraft type games, and in very Donald Trump kind of fashion, he was just like, I messed around with making Minecraft games a long time ago and decided I just didn't want to do it. It wasn't fun or something, but
in all honesty, I think his quote was more to say that he couldn't make it fun, and somehow this guy pulled it off and made it fun, and so props to him. But I think the quote really comes back to, well, I could have made Minecraft. I made it years ago. I just, I never really went very far with it.
I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but I'm pretty great.
Yeah, it was a pretty self-centered.
But I mean, he's the
way to
keynote
say
speaker. Like I said, we don't hear much from Shigeru anymore, so
this is why.
Maybe they keep him. Yeah, they keep Shiggy behind doors so he doesn't toot his own horn too much.
Maybe.
And just like any Twitter, his views may not represent those of his employer.
That's true.
Such as the MMO thing.
Well, we kind of hope that that's true. But he did have some other comments that mostly focused on mobile games. And the first thing he commented on was fixed cost mobile games. And I thought this is just Nintendo to the T. He says, this is a direct quote, I can't say that our fixed cost model has really been a success, but we're going to continue pushing it forward until it becomes entrenched.
Yeah. It's like,
what games is he talking about? Which games?
Super Mario Run.
Is that the only one that's fixed cost?
I think so. So far, anyway.
Yeah.
But didn't they? Well, I don't remember if they said that Mario Kart was going to be fixed or not. I don't remember.
I don't remember for sure. And we don't know about this Dragalia Lost, what it'll be like.
But we will soon.
Yeah, when you're hearing this, you will already have known. But I just think that's pure Nintendo right there. It's not really a success, but we're going to keep on doing it until it is.
Yeah.
And then I think he had another kind of related quote when he was talking about Super Mario Run of something about the fixed cost, where he had mentioned that that was his choice to make it fixed cost.
Yeah, well, the other quote that I had was where he was talking about the difficulty of the game, and he said, they made the game fairly simple, but he says it needs to be more difficult. And then I guess fans kind of responded and said, this game is too hard. We need something easier. And they added the Remix 10 to kind of even things out. And he said that really opened his eyes and that it should have always been like that. So he referenced Pokemon Go and said, it had good success and it was a very simple game. So that makes me wonder if that's kind of changing their mindset, and that's why we got a game like Pokemon Quest that came out. It was sort of a mobile type game, but simple is better. It's kind of disappointing to hear. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, but I mean, Reggie has said that he's open to having loot boxes, basically, because he said that they've had a bit of a bad rap. So we might start seeing those.
Reggie's a greedy bastard.
Yeah.
I know it's not the same kettle of fish either comparing to mobile games, but when they first started introducing free-to-play games on the 3DS, you had a bit of a variety of the models in there too. A lot of them had a sort of a cap out where once you spent this much, you would get, an endless resource generator type doohickey. You had things like Subwars where, there was a fixed amount of core plus a couple of DLC things you could get, and that's it. And then you had things like Shuffle where you could just endlessly put more in if you wanted to try to speed you up or give you more chances at things.
And that was I thought Shuffle hit a pretty good balance because you didn't ever really feel too much. Well, for the longest time, especially in the early days of it, you didn't feel like you really had to put any money into it as long as you put in the grind time that was reasonable. But then
But
they
at the
started
same
making it so you
time,
had to grind for like 2 weeks to be able to beat one person.
yeah, in terms of if grinding strategy to be able to play it free, it balanced that well. But it was still set up with no cap. Like you could dump endless money into that thing if you
Yeah.
wanted to.
Where Pokemon Quest does have a cap, I think that cap's around $50 or so. Like
Yeah.
once you put a certain amount in, it cuts you off, which I think all games should cut you off at a certain point.
Yeah.
Just be like, congratulations, you now own everything in the game. Badge Arcade certainly should have capped under $1,000.
If anywhere passes a law about that, it'll be Europe first.
Yeah.
Team Kirby Clash Deluxe, that one capped out. The Pokemon Rumble World, I think that one capped out as well. Most of them did, but not all.
But look at their biggest success, which is Fire Emblem Heroes. As far as I know, there's no cap on that.
No.
And Mario Run kind of had a unique thing in that it was free to play as a demo, kind of, I guess. And then, and then
there's no cap on the Animal Crossing one either.
Yeah, which has been monetized more and more and more as it's gone on.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It is hard to put out an investment, especially when it's $10 on a mobile game.
Yep.
Like that's pretty heavy in the mobile world. And the whole perfect thing about the microtransaction stuff is that you don't realize you're just putting dollars in now and then, and over 5 or 6 months, it's like, oh, I've put $30 into this,
or $828.
That's right.
It's a trap.
Anyway,
I almost said, speaking of traps, but I'm not going to go there.
So we're going to move far away from that. But yeah, anyway, so hopefully tomorrow we'll get some more mobile news and maybe see where they're going somehow, at least with the next game. So.
Yeah. It gets its own direct.
That's right. First mobile direct. Next mobile direct will be for Mario Kart World Tour, which will probably be sometime next year.
Maybe.
And we'll
what I'd still like is a real direct, though. Come on, Nintendo.
I think there has to be one coming for Nintendo Switch Online at some point.
Yeah, I think so too.
Look for the next direct sometime in the second half of September.
Probably when it launches. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, second half of September.
They're like, and it's coming out tomorrow. Maybe that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna wait. Like Nintendo Online Service launches later today.
I can hear Reggie saying it.
Yeah.
I'm still curious with that whether it's worth trying to set up I don't even know what it's called, but the family group beforehand, or just wait till the thing's coming out and do it at that point.
You can do it whenever. I don't even know why they gave you the option to do it ahead of time.
You haven't pre-ordered your card for the service?
Nope.
Oh.
They're gonna be sold out by the time you go.
You won't be able to find online service anywhere, man.
Well,
you're gonna be going door to door asking for Nintendo online service, and everyone's gonna say, sorry, we're fresh out.
You think the online service is gonna be like everything else and it'll be in the recently released section and then it's just gonna get buried?
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
Maybe they'll put it in the featured section.
It will be in the eShop. You know it will be. In the news.
Well, there'll be a link to it anytime you try and access something that needs it.
Yeah.
This game requires online service to purchase this.
And we'll see that same link even though we have already purchased the online service.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Mario Odyssey will tell you the ways you can play every time you boot it up.
Well, with that, I think we should close out for the evening. We've had an extra large episode this week. We did have a lot of games to talk about. So hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out with us for this long episode. And as always, if we'd love to hear from you, so you can get in touch with us at Twitter at NOA_podcast. You can leave comments right here on YouTube. And of course, if you just want to listen in, it's on Stitcher and iTunes. And maybe eventually we'll get back to streaming on Twitch at some point. So thank you for your patience there. So thanks for listening and have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Party on.